Hey guys, and welcome. Welcome to our August 2022 Wholesale community call. We have a special meeting today because we have Shimi Morris with us of Shimi Morris fame, the YouTube fame of Shimi Morris. So actually, if we look at the fact, Shimi, that we have a Polish guy and a British guy, we're the least American YouTubers in the YouTube space right now, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so today is going to be special for many reasons. I was even thinking of changing the title of this to Wholesale Wholesome, but I thought that joke probably very not overused at all. So we're gonna jump straight to it. It's nice to see you guys. We have a couple of you watching, and I see everybody. People are joining every now and then. So yeah, we're going to be discussing a lot of things wholesale and not only wholesale related. That's why today also is going to be special. And let's go. We always pride ourselves in being content packed, so we got a lot of content for you guys as well today. And Shimi, I wanted to start with kind of introducing you a little bit to our audience, and I'm asking you, for those who don't follow you on YouTube and haven't heard about you in the community, you've been quite a large name. But those who don't know, I'm just curious of when did you start, and why did what circumstances led you to going into e-commerce? Because I find every story is so much different, but so much fascinating as well.
I started straight out of high school when I was 18, only because I knew I wasn't going to university. I wasn't going to do anything like that, so I had to make money somehow. So I started with print on demand. I went into Amazon FBA. I came back to print on demand. I went into YouTube, and I've just done tons of little things here and there throughout the journey, kind of thing. I mean, it's been nine years now since I left school. So yeah, I've been plugging away for 9 years on this kind of stuff.
All right. So I'm always curious, how long did it take you from hearing about? Because I started exactly the same time, and I remember there were big things, like not too many big things, but there were things like amazing.com and other courses that were like mainly private label. Did you start in private label? What was your kind of entry point?
Yeah, I actually took amazing.com. I took their course. I did
Yeah, me too.
a ASM 4, I think it was at the time, so it was their fourth one. And yeah, it was great. I mean, it was very helpful. It wasn't so good for UK sellers, but we learned and adapted for the UK audience and the UK market. And then when we brought our products to the UK, so Amazon.co.uk, that's when it was a game changer for us because the market was a lot easier to get into.
Yeah, and how long did it take you to quote unquote become profitable? Was it in a way like overnight success as everybody on YouTube is right now, or a bit of a longer
No.
journey? How does that work?
No, so our first product was successful, but it wasn't overnight. It was a very slow growth because we had no money. So we would order 100 items at a time and then go out of stock, and then order another 100 and go out of stock. Eventually, we were able to afford to order 500 and 1,000 at a time and actually build up the business. But for quite a few months, we couldn't order more than 300. So the amount of money we were making was just capped to how much we could afford to buy. But our first product that we found was a big hitter. I mean, I don't care about sharing it. It was a knee brace, and about 4 or 5 months after we did it, the market just became saturated with knee braces. It was crazy, and that's when we came into the UK, which was fresh and just repeated everything. And yeah, it was great. It was really cool.
Two follow-up questions I immediately have. You are saying we. Who did you start the business with? Was it like a family member, business partner? How is it still like that?
So I did it with my brother because at the time, Amazing Selling Machine was $4,000, and I couldn't afford it. He couldn't afford it. So we were just like, let's do it together and see what happens. And yeah, we split everything down the middle. We split costs and all of that and profit, and we just did it together.
Yeah, and we do have a lot of like members of our wholesale community that are mostly selling in US. And there's this narrative that, you know, US is the market if you want to go and do big money or be successful in general, it should be US. But I have more and more conversations with people from all around the world, from UK as well, who are not on the US marketplace in general. So I'm curious, like, what would you say to people like thinking about not starting in US and like starting in the European marketplaces? Do you find that there is still room to success, or what about competition, stuff like that?
So I would say the US obviously a much bigger market. You know, there's a lot more room for scaling in the US. You know, you can make far more money, but it's considerably harder. And I feel like you need more money for advertising and marketing and outreach in the US. I would always recommend selling in Germany and in the UK, only because yeah, you'll make a bit less money, but the market is so much smaller. It's a lot easier to get to the #1 spot. Like we got to the #1 spot on Amazon in less than 2 weeks. But it was so easy because there was no competition for us. So there's that. But also, I mean, not so much now, but at the time, the pound was very strong. So we were selling our product for $19 and then we were selling it for £17, which £17 at the time was something like $28. So we were making a lot more money. Even though we were selling less, we were making a lot more money in the UK because of that.
All
Now
right, sorry. Yeah, well, it changes, and I wanted to before we jump into some other topics that you know we're going to be continuing this conversation. What are you kind of like most excited right now in the e-commerce space? What gets you know like what are you watching with a promise? It doesn't have to be e-commerce. Just like you know, what is the next challenge or the next exciting idea that surrounds you in a way?
So I'm focusing a lot on print on demand at the moment. I did it. That was the first thing I did straight out of school, and I've come back into doing it. But like the thing I'm focused on the most and the thing I enjoy the most is YouTube. I just I love YouTube. I feel like YouTube videos is like creating online real estate. You know, every flat that you buy, let's say flat, like actual flat or house, you're getting rental income. You know, you're
Yeah.
building a portfolio. Every YouTube video you put out there is you're receiving ad revenue from it. You're getting views over time. I mean, there's videos that I posted 4 years ago that are still getting views. So I feel like every video I do is kind of like a digital flat, obviously on a much smaller scale. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's me. There are YouTubers with millions of subscribers where every video is
Yeah.
a mansion for them.
All right, so I'm going to ask this question. I know this is not a YouTube Academy course, but how long did it take you actually from starting a YouTube channel to growing it to a point where you could get revenue and you were kind of like, okay, this makes sense, this works, I'm happy? Because it's also not an overnight success like anything, right? Like there's a lot of work that takes, you know, a lot of
If I
effort
tell you
as
the
well.
answer, if I tell you the answer, it might put you off. It
Right.
took me 4 years before I started making enough money. The way I worked out is enough money to pay my mortgage. So as soon as I started making enough money to pay my mortgage, it was 4 years. But then from the 4th year to the 6th year, because I've now been doing it, well, just under 6 years, it it went crazy. So like all the years of not making anything, it just blew up to way
It's
more than
the
ever.
it's the famous curve
Yeah,
of
it was like this.
anything
And
that you invest your time
yeah,
in. Yeah. And today is going to be also is also special because we're going to be talking actually about wholesale from a perspective of, hey, maybe there are some roadblocks to wholesale, and maybe there are some issues with wholesale that not everybody wants to put up with, and not everybody wants to go through. And we're going to be talking about alternatives. And one of the things that came to me, kind of like came to us lately as news, and we were talking about it on Carbon Six blog, which we're going to show right now, is like just before Christmas season when everybody is just like starting to ramp up their sales and potential profits, and everybody gets excited. Amazon is increasing their FBA seller fees, hopefully only throughout the holiday season, but we don't really know what that means. And plenty of people don't know that, and I think they should. If you're in a wholesale business, this touches you as much as if you're in private label. Does it touch, or does it affect sellers in print on demand or in merch business side of things as well? And if yes, like what are you saying to people if they ask you like, okay, like there's no more room for profit and stuff?
Well, I haven't actually seen the royalties change for Amazon Merch at the moment, which is like their print on demand website. The way it works with Amazon Merch is you get a royalty based on the amount, based on the item price. So if you sell it for $20, you'll get a larger royalty. If you sell it for $25, you'll get an even larger royalty. So I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's not a crazy amount of profit in the merch business. But the benefit is it just doesn't cost you anything to get started. So, you know, if you're selling 100 t-shirts a month and you're only getting $5 a t-shirt, still some extra money every single month at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that being said, we also wanted to, I always say, like, be smart about what what products you're choosing, where is your ROI, where is your profit margin, and stuff like that. And that brings me to something that I wanted to mention for all you guys, that we have some interesting new features and additions to Scan Unlimited that I really wanted to share with you and just show you guys, because we've been working hard on those and we're very proud of them. So if you don't know, Scan Unlimited is one of those like amazing automation lifesavers. Basically, it allows you, if you're in wholesale, to find the products like from supplier lists of hundreds or thousands of products. It allows you to search for the products that make the most sense and that bring you the most ROI and bring you the most profit, and just choose those winners and be like ahead of the competition and ahead of the game. And one of the things we're just working and changing is, not many people know that like actually you can now rearrange the filters and the columns. A lot of people like don't see that there is a column in the end somewhere and it ends up being going maximum to the right. But the fact is, you can just, like, let's say I want to see the price column earlier in my scan, and I can just drag and drop this price column to see, okay, so like, okay, what's my price, and maybe I'll just move my cost to have a good view. And even if I know that the prices are going to be increasing or shipping costs increasing, I can also go to scan settings and exchange and change what is my shipping fee, what is my prep fee, and make some adjustments here or more in the product detail. But knowing your net profits and knowing your ROI is extremely important, and something that we also wanted to do for a long time, and now we actually have done it, is when you go to the main page of Scan Unlimited, now we do have a whole training section that walks you through all the functionality step by step and allows you to understand the tool fully. And once you understand the tool fully, you can use it to your maximum leverage and just find those, like, maybe 2, maybe 5, maybe 10 products from your supplier that you have not been even looking at prior. And another addition that I'm extremely proud is, like, we're actually adding all the community calls archive, so you can find conversations like the one I'm having right now with Shimi is going to be always available for you guys, but also other conversations like the one with Filipe Araujo, or the next one that we're going to be having with a special guest that I'm also extremely excited about. So Scan Unlimited is helping us and helping sellers all over wholesale. Like more than 1,000 sellers currently are using that paid version, that unlimited feature that unlocks all the possibilities. And we want to allow more people to be part of the Scan Unlimited family. And so we're offering everybody in the wholesale community a 50% off first month. If you go to scanunlimited.com and sign up using code 50 off once, 50 off once, you can get your 50% off for the first month. But that takes me to something I really wanted to discuss, and I would love, Shimi, as you mentioned, print on demand, I would love to get a little bit of your perspective on how this looks in terms of merch or print on demand, because I wanted to have a conversation about what can go wrong with wholesale, like especially in the beginning, and why some people might consider something like print on demand versus wholesale.
Mm.
And a lot of the time we're talking about budget and cash flow, and budget as the thing that, sometimes people think I can go into wholesale, buy one product and be successful. But the truth is that if you want to have a reliable, sustainable cash flow generating business, wholesale business, I would say that this $3,000 to $10,000 is that kind of minimum, because like in the beginning, you're going to be spending a bit less testing products. But if you can't reorder those products and like kind of keep it going, it's going to be a bit problematic. And I'm wondering, how is it with kind of print on demand on that side?
Well, it's totally different, really. I mean, technically with print on demand, you don't need any money to get started, and that's the beauty of it, really. The barrier of entry is so unbelievably low. You need to create some designs, and a lot of people get scared at that point and they think, well, I'm not an artist, I'm not a designer. But one of the top selling t-shirts at the moment, it literally just says you're, it's like you are, and people always make the mistake and spell it wrong. It's just a big, you're over here, and there's nothing else to it. I'm like, that's just clever, funny. It's smart, and it didn't involve any design skill. So, and the brilliance of it is he probably just created it in Word or Canva, uploaded it to Amazon, didn't pay a penny. And then all the sales he's getting royalties from those sales, and Amazon will take their commission on the sale. So if they sell it for $19 and Amazon are charging 14, well, you'll just get the 5, and you won't even see the other amount. And it's just a completely different ball game, really, because by eliminating startup cost, you're eliminating risk. You're eliminating everything. The only difference is it's probably slightly slower. It probably takes a bit more time, which is why I like to always suggest, don't quit your day job, don't quit your other income streams. Spend half an hour a day just doing this on the side. And if it turns out that you hit a big design, a big niche, you start getting some, ongoing sales, brilliant. And if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Your stuff is on Amazon for anyone to see, and they can and they can buy it at any point in time. It doesn't disappear. But the only investment I would say is on like a research tool, similar to Scan Unlimited in that sense, just to be able to find what works rather than to kind of guess what will work. If you know what's currently working, it makes more sense to design around the current successful niches.
I remember when we were like, just as you, I was starting with amazing.com, and I was thinking like, if there was no course that would lead me through this whole Amazon thing, I would be so much losing all my money. So like the same with tools like Pretty Merge or Scan Unlimited. It's just like, the training, the automation, it's just invaluable. And the second and third thing that I wanted to mention is like, which is kind of sometimes can be a discouraging thing with Amazon wholesale business, is profits and ROI. Like with more and more sellers showing up on those listings and being your competitors, we are talking about, okay, if I'm selling an item, it might be a $2 profit, $3 profit, and you can be already happy if you don't want to make that initial big investment. And you can sell 100 or 200 of those products, but these profit margins are sometimes seem discouraging. What can people expect with merch? Like, kind of like, is this same business model of like, get $1 here, $2 there, but make the machine start working automatically, or kind of perpetuum mobile, or how would you say it?
Well, firstly, I mean, I would never say anyone should be limited to just selling their print on demand designs on Amazon. You sell it on Etsy, eBay, Amazon, obviously, Zazzle, Redbubble. There are so many, and you can have the same design on all platforms. So you can create one design and upload it to 10 different shops, and that's 10 different audiences. As well as that, you can send your own traffic. But in terms of, ROI and all that kind of stuff, so, well, it's hard to say really, because let's say you have a t-shirt and you sell it for $20 and you get $5 profit. With Amazon specifically, once you get that ball rolling, you start getting sales, it does get easier. You work your way up the Amazon tiers, because it's based on tiers. There's tier, it's like a game really. Like you got tier 10, which is like the first level, then tier 25, which is second level, and those tiers dictate how many designs you can have uploaded to your store. So on tier 25, you can have 25 designs. And then the higher you go, the more designs you can have. So the more money you'll make, the easier it will be to get sales. And then it gets to a point where you unlock Amazon ads. So I think it's tier 500 or something where you unlock Amazon ads, and then it's a complete game changer, because with Amazon ads, you can create a new design and automatically just show up right at the top if you want. You don't have to worry about anything else. And usually the ACOS on, or the however you want to call it, the ROI on Amazon ads with merch, it's incredible. It's incredible. And one thing which is cool with print on demand is you're not limited to t-shirts. Now, t-shirts, you'll get a few dollars here and a few dollars there, but you can sell, hoodies, sweaters, stickers, wall arts, canvases, all these things. And some of them have $20 or $30 profit margins. So if you can create a successful shop and a successful brand, maybe even a successful audience, you can pretty much sell anything to them, So yeah, start at t-shirts, but work your way up.
Yeah, of course. It's just an entry point. As an entry point, it's a perfect way to start a business and to kind of make money, get confidence. That is a big thing. Like with stuff like Pretty Merch, it helps you to gain so much confidence with the automation and just kind of like showing you. And we're going to show in a moment a little bit of the Pretty Merch tool. One more thing that I wanted to mention here with like what could go wrong with wholesale is basically our research. Like research to find the right product out of 100,000 is quite complicated. And if you're not choosing a tool like Scan Unlimited, I think it's quite impossible to become successful with. And in wholesale, it's quite often, as an example, there is a quite often issue of Amazon jumping on the listing and selling, out of a sudden selling the same item that you are selling, and then you have no whatsoever chance of competing. With merch, that's usually not the case, correct?
Right, that doesn't really happen with merch. The what could happen is, someone could come along and design the same thing as you, like the same thing, whatever, and try and rip off your design. And that happens, which is just very unfortunate. There's nothing you can do about it. But you don't have Amazon coming on, and it just doesn't exist for merch.
Yeah, and I look at merch in a bit of in a way that it doesn't have to be something that you have to choose. It's going to be either either merch or wholesale, or you can start with book arbitrage, with like Zen arbitrage. You can be doing all those things, and I actually think that you are learning the most if you are trying all those things. But choosing a one point of entry and kind of learning it to become confident and competent is like so important. And sometimes people listen and hear about like the big successes of $2 million sellers per year on Amazon wholesale business, but like they don't really fully understand that the amount of initial investment, initial knowledge, skill set, and training and hard work is simply might be overbearing and kind of overwhelming for them. And that's why I think a lot of people don't know that there might be different entry points. And that's why I wanted to talk to you and talk about print on demand and about Pretty Merch and about merch in general, because when we were having the beginning of our story, for first 4 years I did not know that there's anything else than private label, because the course did not mention, hey, you can do wholesale, you can do drop shipping, you can do arbitrage, you can do print. Like they were not saying that. So, and I was in my bubble. We had a business, we were doing quite well, we were learning. But like if we knew at some point that like there's wholesale, you don't have to do ads, you don't have to do your own listing, you don't have to worry about review bombing, I would be like so much like, why nobody, like when I discovered wholesale, I was like, why nobody told me? And then I discovered merch and I was like, why I don't know anything about this, because like this is the best entry point. So I'm curious, like what do you think is like kind of a good entry point currently? And like maybe we can tie it a little bit to what's going on with Pretty Merch, because I know there's some like limited time thing that's running right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I actually just made a YouTube video on the best way to start if you wanted to get into it. And I basically said, the first thing to do is to apply to sell on Merch by Amazon, because you actually have to get approved. And then once you apply, whilst you're waiting for that approval, you can create some designs. I'll happily share my screen to kind of show you what it looks like if you want. So I've got the actual pretty much tool on my screen over here. But it basically, I would say start with trying to create some designs, and once you get accepted to Merch by Amazon, you can upload those designs straight away, put the descriptions, the keywords, and all of that in, and you could either send traffic to it, or you could just wait and sit back and send traffic. So what Philip is showing now is actually the Pretty Merch research tool, and this tool basically will make your life slightly easier in the sense that you'll be able to search for profitable and successful designs in the here and now. Also, you'll be able to see what's working over the last 30 days, on average. And rather than have to figure out what to design and what to sell, you can see what is already selling, and you can just kind of tweak it and create your own unique spin. Obviously, don't ever steal anyone else's designs, but you can see, oh, this one's doing really well. I can create something like this, a bit of a spin-off. It's a bit different, and see how it does. And it just makes, the research, it takes the struggle out of the researching phase. But what we've got going on now with Pretty Merch is we've got a discount, which I believe is ending in about 6 days. I can't remember. It's at the top.
I will tell you exactly 6 days and 4 hours.
Yeah, so 6 days and 4 hours. We've got a discount, so it's meant to be $349, and it's been discounted to $149, so it's 57% off. And basically, with that, you'll get access to the Chrome extension. So when you do have an Amazon Merch account, you'll be able to see a dashboard, which looks absolutely beautiful. It looks really cool. And as well as that, you'll also get a web app, which will allow you to search Amazon's database of their most successful print-on-demand T-shirts. You'll be able to see not just T-shirts, but hoodies, pop sockets, phone cases. You'll be able to search on, the United States, United Kingdom, Germany, a whole bunch of other countries. And there's a lot you can do with this tool. But basically, the idea of this tool is to kind of make your life slightly easier and also make the research slightly easier. And I find it very helpful. I've been a user of it for many years. I only just came in to actually start helping with it, but I think it's cool. I think it's great. I just like how easy it is to use, and it just makes the whole business. I wouldn't say it makes it super easy. It's still difficult to get sales, but it makes finding potential niches much easier. That's for sure.
What do you find is the kind of most common objection or fear that people have before signing to something like Pretty Merch? The one that comes to my mind directly is like, oh, do I have to have any artistic skill set or know how to design, be a designer? I'm not that. I don't want to. Other one is coming to my mind is like, I don't want to have a house full of T-shirts. What are kind of the most common kind of objections that are showing up?
I found a lot of people get stuck with the designing stuff, and you can just use Canva. And as well as that, I mean, I created a whole kind of training series that's actually so you actually get access to a whole training series, and we're adding new video set the whole time. So there's going to be a whole bunch of videos actually teaching you how to create designs using something like Canva, which is free and really easy. And then the second issue with having too many T-shirts, well, I mean, that's a great problem to have, but you don't have any inventory, you don't have any stock, you don't have anything. It's all done. So once you upload a design to Amazon and you get a sale, Amazon will print onto the T-shirt and will ship it out to the customer, and you'll just get paid. There's no stock, there's no warehouse cost, there's no inventory cost. There's none of that. There's no upfront investment to get these T-shirts. Absolutely none of that.
Okay, and another question is, I see that there are over 50,000 merch, kind of merch specialists using Pretty Merch, and this pre-launch that you're having for this kind of new functionality. Is this a saturated market? That's what everybody's going to say. Like, is it too late to enter and kind of like make money? How easy it is?
That question. Yeah. So again, I actually just made a video on this, but print on demand is currently is estimated to be worth around 4.9 billion at the moment, and it's growing at 26% every year. So it actually has the most insane growth. So yes, there are more sellers coming on, but there are tons more customers coming on. Tons more people actually looking to buy. A lot of people actually want, firstly, specifically with Amazon, next day delivery on their clothing, but also something different and something unique, rather than just go to the shop, the whatever, and buy a t-shirt that 10,000 people have bought. Here, it's kind of nice to know you're one of maybe a few hundred people that have bought this t-shirt. So the customers are, well, they're increasing, I would say, faster than new sellers are coming on board. So yeah, I don't think it's saturated, but then again, like I said, it's not easy. Like, by no means do I think you're going to create your first t-shirt and you're going to become a millionaire. Like 100% no,
Yeah.
but it's a great side hustle to begin with. And, if down the line that side hustle can become a main income stream for you, brilliant. If it can't and it just is a side hustle, then that's also okay.
And I'm going to add that, like, as a user of different tools for more than 9 years in the e-commerce space, and at some point you understand the value of tool that is helping you to either outsource your time or efforts or any of this, or automate it. And if I see a tool that people are telling that it's intuitive, attractive, simple, direct, that is actually helping them, that's like, for me, all value of all the money, like, because if you imagine like not having that tool and just like sitting and going on Amazon and going all over the pages and being like, oh, maybe I do this, maybe you don't even know what is trending, what's a value, where is the profit potential, just like knowledge is king. And I think this is like, that is the value proposition that speaks to me. I just want to be better than others, and that helps me.
Yeah, so I always think of it as, what do I need to do to recoup the cost? So, this would end up being around $12 per month. So when you $149 up front, but let's split it over a year, it's $12 a month. In my mind, I think, okay, I only need to sell 3 t-shirts to recoup that cost a month. Selling 3 a month, I mean, I hope we would be doing more than 3 a month, especially if you're selling stuff that is trending and is doing really well. And that's just to recoup that. And then, sell a further 3. You've now 100% your this initial investment, and then you could be selling another 3, another 3, another 3 every single day. So it's a very low cost, considering that there's no other costs involved. There's no cost of inventory or anything like that, or warehousing. If this is the only thing to get you started, and it's just there to give you some information to help you get started, and some training, then yeah. I mean, I personally love courses. I love tools. I love these kind of things, because I feel like it saves me a lot of time. I don't want to waste hours and hours trying to find something when I can do a search and it's all there in 5 minutes, 30 seconds for that matter.
Yeah, and there's actually a money back guarantee, which is always in the end something that if I see a tool has it, I'm more confident that, like, I can just try it 30 days. I think it's plenty to try it out, right? Like, how much, like, so there is a training section as well. If somebody is completely new to this idea, there's kind of like videos that are being created, and kind of, is there any community that's around Pretty Merch and merch that that exists that you recommend joining? Or
well, we have a Facebook group, and we are actually building a private Facebook group for anyone who has Pretty Merch, and that will be like a much more high level group where I try and do calls every 2 weeks, potentially even reviewing people's designs, reviewing their shops, telling them what could work and what couldn't work, and then just walking through the data. So that's going to be on the private group that we're in the process of building now. I'm hoping for that to launch in the next, I would say, month or so. And that, I think, is going to be cool, because that's going to be really, on hand with me and someone else to kind of go through your stuff specifically?
I'm probably gonna join myself just to see it, because I like learning from somebody else who is already successful is, I think, one of the biggest values, and just have this possibility to be, you know, an early adopter, or like, let's say, to a completely new functionality and tool. It's like you're just ahead of the game. And I don't know pure math. I'm not extremely good at math, but if the regular price is 350 and I get it for 149, I'm pretty sure it's more than 50% off, which is
57, yeah.
amazing. Yeah, which
50.
is like, okay, and that's another, like, just like, as much as sometimes we're thinking like you have to be frugal in the beginning, and you know, like I remember I haven't paid myself really for first months of having the business. We weren't, you know, we were cooking at home, we were, you know, the starving artist, starving entrepreneur, and just like trying to make it work. Like wherever I see that something can save my life, help my life, and then I can save, you know, like 200 bucks, and then, you know, the only issue is those 6 days that we have left. So for those upcoming 6 days and 4 hours, guys, like we
Yeah.
definitely, I would recommend, like it's a great idea, even if you're just to try it out, and you know, there's a guarantee, right?
We put the link in the live chat so people can go to it if they wanted.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now as well, and we're kind of trying to, we're showing it here on the slide. So if you just go to prettymerch.com/pro combo, and you can also find it in the chat. That's definitely a place where you can sign up. And yeah, I think, Shimi, we are unfortunately running late. I was hoping we can get some questions answered, but there is a time limit to these calls. So yeah, tell us, maybe we can close it off with a kind of like your final message here about like, what do you think a person starting, let's say, starting their journey or wanting to expand their business, or having different streams of income, you know, what are kind of the, besides becoming a YouTube star that might take like 12 years, that's maybe not the easiest one. So actually print on demand is easier than becoming a YouTube celebrity, correct?
Yes, just a bit, yeah. I would say
Yeah.
my final message really would be, whatever it is you're doing, whether it's print on demand, YouTube, you know, wholesale, FBA, whatever, it will take time for you to get sales. Write down or come to an agreement with yourself how long you want to spend on it every day, and stick to that. So if you say an hour or 2 hours a day, it doesn't matter. You don't have to say 10 hours a day to be successful. You know, you can say half an hour a day, but be consistent and stick with it every single day. You know, don't give up in a month if you don't see sales or return. Like with YouTube, it took me 4 years. You know, many times I wanted to give up, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna see it through. So keep going, dedicate a certain amount of time every single day to it, and eventually, you know, you'll see some success in whatever business that you end up deciding to do.
And I fully agree. And I think that the one thing that we see, we are both involved in big communities. I'm involved in arbitrage and wholesale communities. And one thing, and I talk to plenty of people, and one thing that I see over and over again is there are just two different types of people. One is those, and you know, those that are kind of, when we're talking, they're saying like, yeah, well, you know, I watched everything, but I'm not sure about this, I'm not sure about that. And it's like third month, and they're still, you know, like haven't pulled the trigger. And then, as an example, yesterday I had a call with actually a book arbitrage, Zen arbitrage, a new member, who was just saying like, you know, I signed up 6 days ago, but I already ordered my free books. They're on the way to Amazon. And I'm like, man, that's like, you're gonna be doing good, because you're willing to, you know, try out things. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I do. I have my job on the, you know, 9 to 5, but I want to escape it. And I think print on demand, arbitrage, wholesale, like you just have to be proactive, take the chances in a safe environment, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you've got to be
Yeah.
smart with it, you know.
Yeah, and I definitely encourage everybody to go to Pretty Merch /Pro Combo, because that, just even that promise of like having a community with like-minded sellers, and having the training hub and those videos, and just kind of, you know, in the hard times of inflation and of recession probably, and of all those other things, like having another stream of income where you don't have to invest $100,000 in order to, you know, start seeing results, I think it's impeccable. Shimi, I wanted to thank you very much for joining us today. We ran a little bit longer, but
That's cool. Thanks for having me.
yeah, I really appreciate, and I think a lot of people will take it, take a lot of lessons from here. And even if you're going to be watching this far later, much later than September 2022, like pretty much could still be the solution. And definitely check out Shimi's YouTube channel, and just learn, be passionate about learning and pulling the trigger. That's what I always say.
100%.
The learning trigger. Yeah, Shimi, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Cool.
Thank you. Bye.